Incremental routines. So you may think that if you're more intelligent, you will get most of SuperMemo or incremental routine. Okay. Turns out, many years ago, Piotr Wozniak himself, with other team members, they did a study. So I'm not going to show you the study. Feel free to check it out. So I will do a slideshow of the insights. And I think it will be surprising. So first, the core question. You have the traditional assumption. A higher IQ, intelligence coefficient, might lead to a faster learning or better retention. If you are more intelligent, you will learn faster and have more stuff in your memory. The retention rate will be higher, meaning that if another person has a lower IQ but does the same thing with SuperMemo, will still perform lower. That's the assumption. And in the SuperMemo context, does the IQ significantly impact the performance in spaced repetition and incremental reading? They will get more items done, memorized per period of time, and with higher retention rate? Let's see. So, results in a nutshell. They had a study with 13 students using SuperMemo for over a year. It's quite a lot. If you check online, the research that is done with Anki or other stuff, obviously it's not with SuperMemo. Usually it's very short term, weeks, perhaps some months, a year. I haven't seen anything about a year. So within a year and with 30 students, there's nothing that is strong, that is not statistically significant, that links IQ with any key parameter, anything. Not limited to retention rate or the quantity of or the speed. Any. They actually compared all of the variables in the study. Nothing is significant. But what is crucial is motivation is crucial. Observations suggest that self-criticism, persistence, and motivation overshadow IQ in determining learning outcomes. If you really enjoy what you're learning, you are passionate of what you're learning, this will be a better indicator of your success than your IQ, assuming that it's in the healthy ranges. You don't have any disease or condition that is, let's say, psychological, neural, or I don't know, genetic. So assuming you're just average, or let's say dumber than average but healthy, so to simplify, the most indicator is the motivation. If you really enjoy what you learn, you will be persistent. It's guaranteed. You know the three daughters? So it's like the Polar family. The three daughters, that they were all geniuses in chess. One better than others, but was the first, the second, and the seventh, something like that, something crazy. The question is, they were geniuses, or happens that they were very consistent, but most of that, they were motivated to play chess. They really enjoyed the process. So if we could measure their IQ, there will be a correlation. So then, why might high IQ help initially? And balding initially. That's already bald, oh my god. Yeah, faster grasp of principles. Higher IQ users may learn how to use software and apply strategies, resolution, incremental learning more quickly. So we could say that a higher IQ could learn how to use incremental learning quicker. But eventually, both, compared to a regular or a lower than average IQ person, eventually they will master incremental learning anyways. So then, what will be the difference? If we have 1 year, okay, at the beginning you will do it quicker. But if we have 1 year, there will be a difference then. And if we start 1 year, but everything is already familiarized with the software or the technique, the method, there will be a difference because that is initial. Meaning, if I remove the initial advantage, there will be a consequence. Clever uses. There might be They might create elaborate knowledge structures, better item formulations, or advanced workflows. Because, to simplify, they have a better command of the language, they have more capacity of abstract thinking, this kind of thing. And potential for addiction. More likely to become deeply invested, hooked, of maximizing knowledge acquisition. Exactly that. Hey, I do more because I want, because I have this motivation, this addiction. Not in the sense that I want to know the best I can, the most I can in my life, necessarily, but hey, I have a lot of inquietudes. I have a lot of stuff that I'm curious, and I will want to know. But what does the data says about that? IQ and retention rate have close to zero correlation. Users with lower IQ or average IQ will achieve similar long-term memory results with SuperMemo than the ones with higher IQ. But the key is here, in the long term. So the higher IQ has an initial advantage, but then this advantage, after the initial period, it's gone. There's no difference. Or it's so negligent that there's nothing, even a weak correlation. Then, stronger influences. Motivation, time commitment, and effective material structuring have a big impact in success. So, if I enjoy, let's say I'm dumb, but I really enjoy this, I will put a lot of time. I'm super motivated. I really like that. So my entropy is skyrocket. As a consequence, I will spend hours every day. And I have effective methods. Methods, it's not something from my identity or from my genetics. It's a method that I'm using. I can use better methods or like traditional methods like cramming. I will have lower performance, not because I'm dumber, it's because the method I'm using is worse. Then if I structure the resources in a well manner, I do prioritize well, I do the flashcards when they become due, and all of that, so parts of incremental reading, and I'm motivated, that overshadows. This is influence more the retention rate than my raw intelligence, or IQ, that IQ is not intelligence. Then, what are the takeaways of the study? Self-assessment impact. Better students often give themselves lower grades, causing similarly lower retention in SuperMemo stats. Yet they will do on exams. Ha ha ha! Good to know. Meaning that I'm more strict with myself, therefore I will be putting grade as 3, let's say, and something that is dumber, lower IQ, they will grade themselves as 5, even though they recall the same thing. I'm more strict on myself, therefore I need a higher threshold to grade 4 or 5. That's why, hey, you have a lower retention in SuperMemo because you said, no, that's a 2, not a 3, therefore it counts as a lapse, therefore the retention grade is lower by average, yet on the exams you got the same score, or even higher than the other person. A limitation, by the way, is that, well, do well in exams is not how you measure retention rate. It will be how you apply that knowledge. It will be really hard to measure because exams is I just do rote and I will achieve a good grade anyways. So that's a limitation for me in the study. Memory variance. Basic memory properties, forgetting curve, space repetition efficiency, differ less between individuals than we typically imagine. Yes, there's high and lows, some outliers here and there, but most of the time, for instance, in SuperMemo, what I have seen in tutories is that the A factor, to my surprise, the A factor for items that tends to increase and the difficulty that are 2 peaks it's consistent. Even the person who start clueless, they only do cramming. and they have a lot more to undo and learn from the school system and get the incrementalism, all of that. And people who are already versed with space repetition, that come from Anki and good practices and so on, perhaps not at the beginning, but later on, after the first year or months, half a year, then I see the stats is, slightly lower, the value is slightly higher, but it's again the same pattern, and more or less on the same range, within the same range. So it doesn't make much difference for some stuff. It really doesn't. Then don't blame yourself. If you're stuck, it may be due to missing prerequisite facts or poorly structured material, not low ability. Exactly. There are holes in the understanding because you have holes in the prerequisite knowledge. Easy. Or the material is chaotic. Could be also the case. So it's not your raw capacity that you don't have a required IQ. Is that what you have learned is not enough, or it has been in a way that the quality is not good, it's not semantic. So it's not on you. Then practical implications for learners. You should focus on motivation and consistency. You will get there. You will become the genius of yourself, whatever that means, of yourself with incremental reading. That let's say that you are not, your IQ is low. I really don't like to say that because the IQ is a myth. It's bullshit at the end of the day. But for whatever reason, let's say that you have something that you consider you perform lower than average, you will get there anyways in the long term. That's it. That's it. So just focus on getting time in a routine and get the skills. That's your only preoccupation. Develop better mnemonic techniques because at the end of the day, the formulation of knowledge is more crucial than the raw capacity of the IQ. You just accumulate victories, small victories, atomic victories, and across time. The accumulation of thousands of victories, of thousands of days. A lower IQ individual will be able to solve problems better than a higher IQ person who doesn't do incremental reading and keeps forgetting and rely on his or her raw capacity each time, but doesn't accumulate knowledge. Therefore, if your capacity to solve problems or be creative is superior, are you more intelligent than the other person? Even with a lower IQ? Then that means that most of this capacity doesn't come from you, but what you did, the method you have used, and the optimum intervals, the spaced repetition, is because of that. You selected, you prioritize the knowledge, you have decided the details you want to forget, what you want to keep, and then you have more capacity to learn, more capacity to solve problems than a higher IQ individual. Therefore, what makes an intelligent person? The IQ? Not really. So knowledge is part of intelligence, reading between lines. So everyone can benefit for incremental reading. Anyone. Even if you think, I have a bad memory. Even if you think you're stupid, you're dumb. You can, not that you can benefit, you will benefit and you will not be dumb. You're not. You are just using inefficient methods. You have done cramming, all of this. My previous self was dumb. That only my previous self only know how to cram. Even using spaced repetition at the beginning. I was using spaced repetition in 2009 for cramming. I didn't know better. So that previous self had the same IQ as today. We could simplify. Yet the previous self was super dumb, would not solve much problems, and didn't have the knowledge I have today. Have I increased my IQ? No. Have I increased my intelligence? Yes. How? By using incremental reading, accumulating knowledge that I can apply to solve problems, spark creativity, and so on. Then, why motivation matters the most? Persistent usage. If you like something, it's very likely that you will be consistent. You want to do it often. Let's say that you like to play Minecraft. You enjoy playing Minecraft. It's very likely that you want to play Minecraft every single day and for longer than a person who doesn't enjoy the video game. Same thing. Self-criticism versus growth mindset. Being critical of your performance can push you to refine items, leading to deep mastery. That, hey, that's not enough. I get it, but I felt this last year. Perhaps not because I forgotten the answer necessarily. It's because with the formulation, I didn't get what I was being asked. I don't get the question. So you refine that, and since you do it so many times, so many days, so you first accumulate better skill, you deepen the mastery, you fine tune this by trial and error, this works and this doesn't, is that you can appreciate this difference that, hey, my previous self of 2022, that time he will have rated as good, and now my 2025 self, this is crap. My standards have increased. Why? Because my mastery has increased. So now I see this item, and for me it's not enough. It's not good quality enough. So it's not that, hey, I'm very strict with myself, I am a perfectionist. No, it doesn't go that way. It's like I am an incrementalist. I have a growth mindset. And since I do interruptions, I will be able to see that. It's when you see a picture of yourself 2 years ago, 5 years ago. Oh, wow, I was thinner. I had less weight or something like that. Oh, wow. So obviously I see myself every day on the mirror or whatever. But when you do this mental travel, that, oh, wow, 5 years, oh, wow, I was shaving, I didn't have this disease in the skin, Oh, wow, it's a backtrack. So it's the same thing. You need this backtrack of your previous self, and oh, wow, I didn't master priorities, I had these difficulties, not anymore. Or I consider this was a good thing when now it's quite so the quality. This implies growth. And finally, time and quality material. Having good sources to learn from, plus sufficient time to practice, equals learning gains. Because I can have a very sophisticated and advanced method of learning, but if I don't have time, I'm not going to have learning gains if I don't invest time with incremental reading. Or I have a ton of time, I don't work. Let's say I have all day long, plenty of time, but I don't have any good resources or technique. My real learning gain will be minimum because I will learn a lot, but I will forget a lot. So the real learning will be minimal. Conclusion of everything I have said so far. Higher IQ might help quickly grasp how to use SuperMemo initially. I have this on record, so you can actually see what I did. It's not 40 hours on record, but I don't know exactly how many, but more than 30 hours of footage, raw footage unedited. It's available on this channel since 2020. So you can see exactly what I did and the level I achieved of proficiency in SuperMemo, which it was not the best, by the way, and it's yet on record. So basically, the higher IQ is just an advantage that is initially, and it goes away. Then, long-term results depends on motivation, self-criticism, and effective structuring, and consistent usage above anything else. And those domains are unrelated to IQ. The motivation, the consistency, this is regardless of your IQ. You can be consistent or inconsistent. You can have a very high IQ and not be motivated on learning whatever you want and not be consistent. So the outcome you will have won't be that good. So bottom line is that SuperMemo benefits for all who persistently use it, regardless of their IQ. Intelligence, if you put intelligence as a synonym of IQ, is actually kind of irrelevant for incremental reading. Anyone will benefit from incremental reading. Anyone. Then, final thought. In SuperMemo, the biggest driver of success isn't raw intellect. It's how you shape your material, how consistently you apply the method, and how motivated you are to keep learning. This is the key to success. And this key to success, there's no dimension of IQ. And I suggest this reading from Piotr Wozniak, the same author of Incremental Reading and SuperMemo. IQ is a dismal measure of intelligence. It's a good reading. Welcome to SuperMemo. Welcome to Incremental Reading. My pleasure. If I have introduced you to Incremental Reading, my pleasure. So that's all for now, and see you incrementally.